Welcome back, investors. My name is Nir David and I'm a value investor. Twitter had grown its user base steadily for years, but they only monetized through ads which were subpar so far. They never tried to monetize its user base, its creators, like a creator economy. Think of YouTube, for example, that pays YouTube creators for their videos, or Instagram influencers that can advertise other products on their profile on Instagram. Currently, Twitter stock is only priced for its subpar advertisement business, and it's not priced at all for the creator's economy it might pursue. So if Twitter will improve its ad system substantially, and we will pursue the opportunity in the creator's economy, there are two major effects that can affect the price of the stock in the long term. In this video, I will discuss why Twitter is in a great position to pursue the creator's economy and what potential they have there, why they can improve their ad system substantially and actually make their revenues much higher just through the ad system improvements, and how it all relates to what they presented in Analyst Day just a few months ago. Guys, before we begin, I want to mention that everything I present here is already written in an in-depth analysis newsletter that I write that you can see right now on the screen. If you want to go really deep and you prefer reading this stuff, you can find the link in the description below. And as always, if you like what I'm doing here, if you like investing, and if you're interested in this subject, please leave a like and subscribe to get more content from me and teaching the YouTube algorithm that you like learning about investing, so the YouTube algorithm will offer you more videos like this. Let's start by talking about the ad system that Twitter currently offers. The ad system has been subpar for years. Their analytics were subpar and their personalization weren't to the level of things like Facebook, obviously, and it all affected the way the ad system works. Because their analytics weren't so good, advertisers couldn't measure effectively how their ads are performing on Twitter. That led to most of the ads on Twitter being brand ads instead of performance ads. The official division is 85% brand ads and only 15% performance ads. Now, what does it mean? Brand ads are ads that aimed to make you recognize the brand name. We don't aim to make you do any measurable action at the moment. Think about insurance companies or banks or daily consumable like Procter & Gamble, toothpaste, things like that. Things that they don't expect you to click the ad and go to the site to sign up or do anything measurable at the moment. They just want you to recognize the brand name. These kind of ads are usually paying less because you can't really measure what are the effects of the ad. Now, Twitter is working really hard to change that. They're trying to improve their analytics, improve their features for performance ads, and improve their personalization to make performance ads, which pay much better and can run throughout the year, to be more prominent on the platform. We started with features, for example, the map feature that is allowing apps on platforms like iOS and Android to advertise the app and have a click directly to the app store of the platform, whether it's Android or iOS, and it allows the advertiser to measure how many clicks go to the app stores and how many of them actually installed the app. And this kind of measurements are super important for advertisers that essentially need to make money from each ad. Next, there is personalization. I will talk about it in the development velocity, but Twitter changed the way they run machine learning algorithms on their system. So it improves personalization both for ads and for the user in the home feed. It allows the tweets that get in front of the users to be more relevant for them, allowing the users to spend more time on the platform, as a result seeing more ads that are more relevant because we improved their algorithms. Now, there's a long way still to be going here, but Twitter is certainly improving, and they proved it. They have the numbers behind it. We showed it in the earnings call, in the presentations. We show higher engagement with ads and higher relevancy of the ads for the users. Now, last thing is analytics. Twitter improves the technology behind the analytics all the time. In the Analyst Day, they announced the Click ID rolling out to everyone. Click ID is a feature that allows Twitter to track which users clicked on which ad throughout the web. It means that if a user clicks an ad on Twitter and goes to your site, you are able to tell once they got to your site that this is the exact user. So you can track which ad bring which users, and it allows you to better monetize the users and monetize the ad, because I got the user that paid me X amount of money from this ad. So this ad is super relevant for highly valuable users, so I need to run this ad. You couldn't do it effectively up until now. It marks a really deep change within Twitter system, which I expect to see affecting the ad revenue in the next year or two. This all connects to the next point, which is the development velocity of Twitter and the improvements they did on this side. For years, Twitter haven't launched, it seems like they haven't launched any new feature or improved the product. The main reason for that is that their technology was so much behind that it slowed the teams so much that they couldn't manage to release new features and iterate on the product. And this happened, according to Twitter, due to them building a lot of the internal tools within Twitter that they really shouldn't, because those tools have standards in the industry that they could use. In the last year, Twitter changed a lot of their tech stack to allow them to iterate much faster. For example, they changed the cloud infrastructure from something they built internally using Mesos to Kubernetes. Don't worry if these words doesn't mean anything to you. It just means that they moved from old technology that isn't maintained and slowed them down to new technology that allow them to perform much better. Another example is that they're used all their data internally up until now, and now they moved everything into Google Cloud, and they do all their machine learning and AI on the Google Cloud platform, which allows them much faster iteration and much better performance in this regard. And this connects to what I said before about the personalization of both ads and the home feed. It was enabled due to their move to Google Cloud. We can see it with a lot of features lately. They released a lot of new features really, really fast. And one example that demonstrates it's really, really good, which I like to give every time, they developed and delivered the Twitter Spaces feature to a mass audience. We're talking about over 200 million users daily to use Spaces on scale in both iOS and Android. In the other side, you have companies like Clubhouse that should be lean and fast because they are a startup that doesn't have a lot of baggage and scale to get with them. And they had so much more time to work on it, and still there is no Android app for Clubhouse, and still they are not in mass scale because they block people from signing up. It's invite only. So think about how amazing it is that Twitter got to the point that they deliver a great feature much faster than a new hot startup with a lot of money. Fast iteration will allow for fast innovation, which Twitter really needs, both in the ad space to improve ads and in the creators economy that I will get to. And this will allow them to iterate and make mistakes. And it's okay for them to make mistakes. It's not that like every new feature and every new product will catch on and will be a hit, but their ability to try and try fast is what makes me very, very optimistic about the future of it. Next, let's talk about the opportunity with the creators economy and what it means for Twitter. Twitter is a great platform to be discovered and gather following if you create mostly written content. So it can be just small tweets, and it can be somewhat long form if you create threads. And Twitter is also spanning out to other fields. You can create audio using Spaces and integrate with your followings. And you can also do long form newsletters using the last purchase we did with Review. So you can integrate everything together. You can create the basic idea in a tweet and refer your followers to the long form of this idea in your newsletter, in your review. And you can also interview someone about this idea in Spaces. Now, other platforms allow for other kind of followings. For example, Instagram is allowing you to create followings for lifestyle. YouTube allow you to create following if you are a video creator. The Spotify is trying to be a place for audio content, specifically podcasts, with a recent feature of paying for podcast creators. Now, the problem is, and as I started to say, is that every other platform allow you to monetize. Spotify allow you to monetize your audience through paid podcast episodes. Instagram allow you to put ads on your profile and leverage the amount of followings you have to advertise things to them from other providers. YouTube trade paying to you for the amount of views you get by the ads it shows to users before your video. The only place that doesn't do it yet is Twitter. For Twitter, if a creator wants to monetize his Twitter followings, he must direct them outside of Twitter. He must tell them, buy my book on Gumroad or on Amazon, pay newsletter subscription for me on Substack, things like that. And the platform doesn't allow the users to monetize their audience on the platform. And this allows for a lot of friction. Because if you want to direct your users outside of Twitter to see other content and pay for this content there, that's a funnel that doesn't really work, and it's problematic. Whereas if you could just click a button on Twitter and start seeing paid content from this user on the platform, the friction will be much lower. People will already have their credit card on Twitter set up, so it will be just one click away, and it will allow for much better monetization. Twitter understands that, and they move to this place. So they already announced feature like Super Follow that allow you to pay for a user to see exclusive tweets from him. They purchased the Startup Review to have newsletters integrate with Twitter, and the newsletter can be a paid newsletter. They just launched a feature that allow you to tip users on Twitter. It all leads to a place where Twitter will be a platform for creators to monetize their creation. This makes me really optimistic because the potential is huge. And I think what will happen is what I call a YouTube event. YouTube, once they start paying for their creators, saw really high rise on the quality of content, because now it's a business. Now if you create a really good content on YouTube, you can get hundreds of thousands of views for a video, which translates to real money and substantial amount of money. So the quality production on YouTube got so much higher. And I think a similar thing might happen to Twitter. And this will be an amazing feedback loop that will allow Twitter to grow beyond our imagination. Because once you can monetize the users on Twitter, the quality of the content on Twitter will get so much better, because there's money involved and people want to get the most attention to the high quality content on Twitter, which will lead more consumers of content to go to Twitter, because there's high quality content there and we want to consume it. So we will have no other choice but join Twitter to consume this great content, which will in turn lead to more creators seeing Twitter as, oh wait, that's a great place with much more people that I can monetize if I create quality content. So we go to the platform. And this feedback loop, this amazing feedback loop, will not only raise the revenues that Twitter make from this creators economy, but it will enlarge Twitter user base as a whole, which allow them to in turn make more money from ads. So I think that this direction that Twitter is going with all these features I mentioned, and also recently with the purchase of Scroll, can see only benefits from it. It's like everyone waited for years for Twitter to do it, and the fact that they finally do it, there's only upside to that. Specifically how lucrative it can be, no one can tell, because I don't know how many users will actually pay for a newsletter. I can assume based on what numbers you see on platforms like Substack, what numbers you see from selling ebooks on Gumroad and things like that. But you can't really tell, because I can't see Barack Obama, for example, starting a newsletter on Substack, a paid newsletter there, but I can see Barack Obama starting a newsletter on Twitter. That's a real possibility. Even maybe not a free newsletter, maybe a paid newsletter. It can happen, and it's a feedback loop that will allow for more people to go to the platform and start doing the same. So guys, I hope this video was informative and you enjoyed it. And if you do, please crush this like button for me. It's really helped me. And this kind of videos takes a long time to make. So a hit to the like button will really be helpful for me. And if you want to get into more details about everything I talked about, again, you can see the link in the description where I go into much deep analysis on my website and I lay out the financials too. And apart from that, I'll see you next time, investors. Bye bye.